one of the monsters from the Wild Things. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it the same way we always do. Okay, we're going to start right in the middle, because if I know if I'm in the middle, I'm not going to go too far off this side or too far off this side. And I'm just going to do a little sad face right there. And I love the part in the Wild Things where they say, the Wild Thing said, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." That was always my favorite ever when I was little, and my mom used to read it to us. But I think it's funny they're saying, "Please don't go," but then they're going to say, "We're going to eat you up." And then they say they love them. This is a good thing for everybody. Don't eat up people you love. All right, now we're going to turn these into some glasses, and watch what I do. I'm just going to put a little circle here and a little circle here. Now we're again talking about symmetrical, and truly it's the worst thing, the thing I'm worst at. They're never the same size. Try to make them the same size. If they're not, no biggie. And inside one dot, inside one dot. Okay. Now on the side, we're going to start drawing the nose. On this side, we're going to do a letter C, and you don't want the edge of the C to go much past the pupil. So I'm going to go right there. And on this side, since we're doing it symmetrical, we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to try to make them the same size. Now remember what Jason taught us yesterday about the oops and making mistakes. Okay, we're never going to worry about it. And when you guys see what I do at the end of this to turn it into a cave, you're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's the biggest oops of all time." But it's going to be awesome. All right, to round it off, we're just going to make a happy face right there. And now we've got his nose. Okay, next we're going to draw the mouth. Now the mouth, I'm going to line it up real quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot right there. Okay, and I hope you guys can see it. Okay, it's even with the nose, but way past the eye. So I'm going to draw an imaginary line there. So I have a dot on each side. And that way I'm going to know how to connect it. So I'm not just drawing all over the place. And I tried to make it the same distance right there and right there. And now I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give him his big happy face. I'll switch around like this. And connect it. And I went super slow because I know if I didn't, I would mess it up. And this guy, I don't know if you guys know who it is yet or not. He has these sharp teeth, and I think Ms. Schoeneman talked about gnashing his terrible teeth. So I'm going to put a bunch of triangles right here. Hey, and here's another thing. Some moms and dads have been sending me artwork, and I love it. So I want the parents to keep doing this and posting it, because I'm going to start grading parents too. I'm going to grade a little harder with the parents though. A little bit tougher of a scale. But please keep sending them. Yesterday I was sent, we did saber-tooth tigers. It was a saber toothbrush tiger. I'm going to find it before and I'm going to show it to everybody, but it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. All right, so now we've got this going on, and I don't think I'm going too fast. Okay, now right above this side and this side is where the bangs are going to start. And I don't know if monsters have bangs or not, but that's what I'm going to call it. And we're going to run it right across his eye. So look, I'm going to make one little circle there and one little circle there. So now I've got the sides that I'm working on. And then I'm just going to go like this. Some are going to be longer, some will be shorter. Okay, I'm going to run it all the way across with just little bumps or little U's or whatever you want to call it. And this Wild Thing looked a little bit like Emma today because I don't think it combed its hair either. And I saw Emma earlier wrapped in her blanket. She hadn't combed her hair yet. But it's Friday morning. Guess what? Fridays are now called don't comb your hair pajama mornings. So you're allowed to come to school with uncombed hair and wearing pajamas. And a stuffy. and a blanket. All right. Now this next part's going to be kind of hard. We're going to wrap this around the face, but we want to make sure that it goes around the mouth as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one bump there. I'm going to turn my paper, make one bump there, and look, I keep putting them towards the nose. One bump there, one bump there, and there. So that way I know I didn't go too high. And the reason I turn my paper is because that way I know that it's going to face the nose every single time. You see how they're going at it? And then I'm just going to connect those with more scribbles. And everybody should look different. And we're going to wrap it all the way around. And then we've got his little head going in there. All right, so we're looking good there. Look, I have more space here than here, but that's okay. And the drawings, think about this. If you came to art class and we were going to draw something and I gave you stones and sticks and said, okay, here's your materials you have to use, and plants that you had to crush up to make colors. They also use bugs to make colors. And then all the lights went out and we had to use animal fat to light the room. Think how crazy that would be. Guess what? We're going to try it next time. All right, now, right here, I'm going to make the letter M, but it's going to look like a seagull. So it's got the rounded edges, and I'm going to do the exact same thing here. You know what those M's are going to do is give the illusion that his horns are coming out of his head. And then when I'm done with that, bring it up here, and I'm going to bring it up here. And even though it looks like these horns are floating, we had to do that so they can stay in front of the other lines we're going to draw. And you know, with some of our stuff, we're always trying to draw these straight lines. The reason this is fun is because we're doing bumpy, crazy lines. Okay, if you're good on that, we're going to do the top of the head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing. I know the nose is here, it's in the middle. I'm going to put one dot right there in the middle. Not a dot, a little frowny face or a rainbow or an arc or whatever you want to say. Look, I added another line right there to make it even look better. Okay, now I'm going to do this same arc right here, and I'm just going to go down like this. Like that. It's looking good. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a second to do that. And think how exciting it would be to discover those caves, like to be walking around with your friends and find it. I'm glad the dog was okay, because that's a long way for a dog to fall. And I'm also really proud of those kids for telling their teacher, because the story I think I originally learned, and I read a new one, is they were actually charging their friends like a dime or a nickel to come see it, and someone else told the teacher on them. But I like the idea that they were honest about it. Now, we've got to draw the rest of the head. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a V right there. That might be too close. No, that's good. I'm going to draw a V right there. And the reason I'm drawing a V instead of one of my little circle U's or whatever is because I know it's going to come down to point. So that's what I want to do right now. Then I'm going to draw a backward C there, forward C there. And look how close I kept it to the rest of his face, because this part of the outside of his beard or head or whatever it's called is going to be a little bit closer. Okay, then I'm going to draw one right there, one right there, one right there, and one right there. And I know you guys are like, Mr. E, slow down, but I'm going to slow down right now and see it. So if you guys ever find a secret cave like that that's 15,000 years old, come and tell me right away. I want to check that bad boy out before someone takes over. We'll take a few pictures. And here's so the government figured out it would be a really good way to make money. So they started doing tours in the cave. This is a true story. So they would let people in, they would charge them, people would walk around. And I'm going to tell you what happened in a second after we connect all these. But I'll give you a little spoiler right here, or a little teaser. Nobody has been in those caves for 40 years. Okay, now right here, it's really important that we bring it down to the V. And we did, and look, I wanted more of a V, so I'm gonna go like that. Just scribble it up a little bit. All right, so they let the people in there, but what they were figuring out is if the people would accidentally touch the rock or breathe, it was ruining the cave. So I think it's carbon monoxide, I don't know what it is. Ms. Schoeneman, if you're still there, maybe you can help with the science, but they were breathing and it was ruining the cave. So here's how cool this is. What happened was they made an exact replica of the cave. So they shut down the real caves of Lascaux. They're still there, but they made an exact replica, which means they made the exact same cave that people could go through. And they used artists to recreate the cave, and it looks identical. So that's really cool. All right. Now we're going to start working on the body. I totally messed up because I should have made it higher, so the body's not going to fit, but I don't mind. Okay, first thing we're going to do, right here, we're going to bring your arm down like this, and remember, symmetrical, same on both sides. I'm going to do an arm down like that. You know, I need to find other books that Marie Sendek did, because I know I used to read them, or my mom used to read them when I was little. But I'd like to find another one, because I think this book is just wonderful. Nice choice, Schoeneman. All right. Now we're going to draw his hands, and I'm going to make even a bigger bump there and a bigger bump there. So it's almost like we're making a circle, but we stop at the top and the bottom. Big bump there and exact same bump there. And Max at the beginning was chasing his dog with a fork. That's a terrible choice. For a bunch of reasons. One, the dog's never going to want to be around you. And two, you could have fallen down and hurt yourself with that fork. And he was running on the stairs. Like, he was making tons of bad choices. So maybe the wild thing wasn't the animals. Maybe it was Max. All right. Do you guys see this line right here? I'm going to make that exact curved line, but I'm going to stop it before it gets to his face. And that way, it'll look more like an arm. Exact same thing on both sides. All right. So you guys catch up a little bit if I'm going too fast. Okay, and now watch. Bump, 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 bump. Okay. And those are going to be his claws or her claws. I don't know if that's a boy or a girl. And I'm going to put triangles on the top of each one. And I don't know if this wild thing has a thumb or not. It'd be very hard to pick things out. And in the parade, I'll have to ask Michelle. Let me see. Because my sister brought over a bunch of books. You guys catch up while I'm looking for something. So my sister dropped off 1 million books to my house the other day, and I'm going to get in big trouble because Mrs. Strada did too, and I can't mess up the books because they'll both get so mad at me because the books are so important to them. And I think I already lost where the wild things are. Let's keep that a secret. I'm going to find it out. Straight line right here. That's the bottom of the shirt. And this guy had stripes in their shirt. So look, I'm going to make stripes. But I'm going to show you guys a trick real quickly. If they go all the way across, that's fine. But the stripes in the middle, I'm going to put in between so it doesn't look like it's one big stripe all the way across. Hold on, got to check that. Okay. Here's the real deal, dude, right here. And look, we showed him and did some homework. We're not seeing any thumbs, but look at those claws on the bottom. I would like to have big claws like that because I could climb things, but I'd rather have a thumb. All right. So now we're going to do the legs. And we're just going to put a line there. You guys were maybe smarter than me and you were able to fit the whole body on. If you were, that's good. I was not. Okay. So watch though. He had like scales for skin. So here's the skin. Now watch what you do is you just make little lines like this, like the letter U or V all the way across your paper. So do your first line like that, and I'm going to teach you guys a secret. Okay, in the night kitchen, I think someone just texted me, or my sister just texted me, is a Marie Sendak book, so I'm going to find that one too. Okay, and here's another thing that nobody knows, except I do, and I try to keep this secret. Like, I think you guys know that I have a Mr. Bananas lives in my closet. Let me do this real quickly. Right here, now look, at the point of each V, I'm going to start there and connect it. Now that looks like it's scales and that it's layered, and that's a huge deal. Okay, so that's the optical illusion we're doing today. So I know a lot of things, like yesterday, Lowell told me that he has a fairy that lives in his backyard. Named, I think it's Jeff or Jack, I can't remember what. There's a lot of them and they come out more and more. But I also got some super good news today. The Tooth Fairy's been really, really busy over this little extended break we're having. And told me that they visited Hattie Peterson's house because she lost her first tooth ever. So that's a huge, big deal. And so I'm going to find her eventually so I can see the new smile. So if you guys have something like that that happens, if the Tooth Fairy comes by or there's something going on, I want to know about it. I might already know, but I still want you guys to tell me, so that's something that you guys can share with us. All right, now, if you, the Tooth Fairy is blowing up the phone. Matthew lost his first ever. And I don't think these teeth are falling. I think maybe some people are pulling them out a little bit, kind of rushing it up, which is a good move. So Matthew Phillips, nice job, bud, losing those teeth. Okay, and I'm going to find you guys and we're going to do the smiles because I love seeing that. All right, so now look, if you have extra room, I'm going to draw my feet up here because I kind of messed up. And all you do with the feet is look, you bring them out like this. And the same thing, dot or bump, 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 and bring it back and up. The feet, the triangle or the claws on his feet were much bigger. All right. So moms and dads message me if you've got big announcements I need to make, and I want to do birthdays, and I know we've had birthdays that nobody's telling me about. So I need that to start happening. Okay, and I've got the scales. Okay, now this part is what I told you about. Okay, I'm going to show you how to turn this in to a cave painting now. Now I haven't colored mine yet. You guys have to color yours before you do what I'm about to do. Okay, you have to color yours first because it's very hard to color. Watch. So right now it's this beautiful flat piece of paper. Okay, it looks good. Now I'm going to turn it into a rocky, rough piece of paper. Now watch what happens. When I undo it, it looks like the side of a wall or a cave painting. Now look how rough it is and how it sticks out, because very few, if you go into very few caves, there's some smooth parts, but for the most part, it's really rough and bumpy. So now I've created a 15,000-year-old work of art. Someday someone's going to find this and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I think we found something from the caves of Lascaux. So I should have put the date on. I'm going to erase that real quickly. Now they'll never know what the date is. And we've got this awesome work of art and it looks all crumply like a cave wall. So let's see here. Okay, I remember what I'm doing. I think I do it this way. So if you saw this now and it was on a wall like that, you see how this wall